Hey, how you doing? As the title states, I'm going to be showing you how to do the timing chain tensioner and timing if you're doing this by removing both cams on a 1.8T. This is specifically an AEB head, but all the heads are the same internally. AEB just happens to be large port. So first off, you're going to start, assuming you're walking out to the car. This is the orientation you're going to be looking at it. So it's reverse for me. Intake is up front, exhaust is in the rear here. So you're going to have 9, 10 mil nuts that hold down the valve cover. You're going to undo those, pull the valve cover off. Side note, if you're doing this with it in the car and you're trying to do the method of only pulling the intake, I would go ahead and time up your engine. Throw a I forgot what size it is, 11/16 triple square onto the crank bolt and turn the engine until there's like a little divot or a recess embossing on the cam gear here, and that will line up with a indent in the valve cover. And once those are lined up, you know the head's in time. And that's going to be very important if you plan on doing the intake only method. So after you have it all timed up, you're going to take T30s or a T30 bit, Torx, and undo all these cam caps. I recommend going from the outside in. That's just reverse from installation. So once you have all those off, take these off. I recommend you putting them like you take 2 off next to each other at a time and place them together. It's not exactly necessary because they are numbered. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There's a little number right here. And this one happens to be 4. So they are numbered. So you can't really mess it up as long as you pay attention. But if you're doing the intake only side, you're going to do those. Remove this guy. And then this entire piece is one piece. So you can take that off. This might be kind of stuck on there from age, from old, gross, gummed up oil, or if it had been done before, there might be sealant on it. So once you have those off, if you bought a kit, it should come with one of these guys, which is a compressor. These are really nice to have. What you're going to do is on the bottom of, I have a new tensioner here. On the bottom of the tensioner, you have this little threaded bit here. That is what this is going to thread into. So you can use that same T30 on this one. It's an Allen screw, but T30 will work. I think it's a 6 mil Allen. And you're gonna put it down in there. You might have to push the chain to the side a little bit to get this to fit down in there. And then you're going to tighten this down, and that will, you'll see the saddle start to go down. Don't over tighten this. Once it's snug, stop, because I've heard of people snapping this plastic piece and that would suck, because if you snap this plastic piece, doing this with just the intake cam is going to suck, and reinstalling, even if you take it all out, isn't exactly ideal. So after you got that in, there's 4 bolts, the T30s as well, 3 on the exterior here that you can see with the head or with the valve cover on, and then 1 you have to, or once you take the valve cover off, you'll see it. You undo all those, and then you're going to kind of wiggle and pull up on the cam. Try to come up as vertical as possible, because if you come up at an angle, you can mess up either the saddles these ride in, or you can mess up the cam itself. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I grab the chain here and grab the timing sprocket here, not a sprocket, but the timing window here. And then pull up. Once you pull up, it'll kind of half pull out the tensioner, and it's easier for me right now because I have these caps undone, so I can show you how to do that after. But you're gonna angle it out, and it's gonna kind of suck, but you just kind of finagle it out like so, and then it's easiest if you take out the bottom first and then slide out the top, and then your tensioner's out. Ideally you'd put pressure on your chain so that this didn't happen, but like I said, I'm going to show you how to time it anyway. So a good idea also, if you want to, is take a paint marker or some nail polish. Nail polish works really good because it's essentially paint, and mark the one of the pins and the correlating gap in between the teeth to that pin so that you can put it back in. I still don't trust that. I always time it anyway. So that's going to be if you want the intake only out and putting it back in. Same way. Just take the new tensioner, put that compressor on there, and it's easier if you go top first and then bottom. Make sure that the chain is back onto the saddles there. And this is not much about this process is easy, and this is why I recommend just timing it, because you're going to be moving this cam a lot, but it will get in there. You set it back down, undo the compressor here, and then you can install your caps. Now if you're doing it with all of the cams, or both the cams out, you're going to remove the rest of the cam caps, and this is an easy one. You just grab the middle or pull one out, like I said, as vertical as possible, and then you can pull the other cam out, and then boom, they are out. Where you put your tensioner back in there, new tensioner in there, and you drop it back in carefully, again, trying to go as vertical as possible so you don't nick one of these surfaces. Once it's back in, remove this guy, and then you're going to put the cam caps back in. So like I said, they're all numbered. So these ones are 4 and 5, and they're going to go in order from, if you're looking at it your way, from right to left. So 1 is going to be this guy with the head bolt slot here. It's not labeled 1, it's just there. Arrow, there's an arrow here. Arrow faces the tensioner. You put that on there. I mean, it only goes in one way, but you can mix it up and put it on the wrong side. So just make sure that arrow is pointing towards the tensioner. And then you're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you got this guy on there. And while you're doing this, I highly recommend you change the cam seals, because they're probably going to be toast. So go ahead and swap those out. Which, to do those, you have to remove the sprocket and this timing, it's not timing window, but I forgot the name of it. It's like an interrupter. And then reinstall the exhaust side, which again have numbers, and also the arrows on these ones are opposite of the arrows on these ones. The arrows just point towards the spark plugs, or towards the center. So 5, 2, 4, 3, and then 1. Now, once you have all these back down, assuming you timed it like I had mentioned in the beginning of the video, everything should, or at least the exhaust cam should be lined up. If you did the entire removal of both cams, then make sure that this cam lines up with, there's a keyway here, and that keyway should be on this arrow or just slightly left of this arrow. So I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it. There's a keyway there. Sorry, 1 second. There's a keyway right there, just the side of that arrow. That should line up with the arrow, or like I said, on the exhaust cam, slightly left. So once you have that lined up, you're gonna line up your intake side as well. You might have to pull it back out and adjust the cam. But once these two are lined up with those arrows, you're gonna take the keyway on this one and count 16 pins this way. And the 16th pin on the exhaust side here will be slight left of that keyway. And as long as this arrow is lined up with this keyway and this one's roughly lined up with this keyway, like slight left, but it should be almost on, and you're 16 teeth or 16 pins away, you should be good on the timing there. That's how I've done it, because I'm pretty sure that's how the Bentley manual tells you to do it, and I've never had it go wrong. So once that's good, you fully tighten down all the cam caps. I believe it's 7 foot-pounds. It's not bad. Some people said that you have to replace the bolts. You don't need to replace the bolts because it's only 7 foot-pounds, so they're not stretch bolts. Because you're not doing any additional turns after that. Once you have all those good, put the valve cover back on, and your head should be good to go with your brand new tensioner and timed properly. When you're reinstalling, there's going to be a bunch of oil, but I always recommend putting a little, if you have some brand new oil, put brand new oil on all the surfaces that are going to be touching something. So all like the worn surfaces, put a little bit of oil on there, or assembly lube if you have it. When you're doing this, if you want to go all out and you have some extra money, I would replace the valve tappets. These guys, they wear out over time, and if you have excessive amount of ticking aside from the chain slap, you can always replace these. I got a set on Rock Auto. I forgot how much it was. I think altogether it was $150 or something like that for all 20 of them. So they're not that bad, and it'll quiet down your engine and prevent any problems in the future, such as worst case bent valves, best case nasty noise. Before you put the valve cover back on, make sure you change out the gasket. You don't want to reuse gaskets. There's going to be a gasket for the whole spark plug holes, and a gasket that goes around the perimeter. So yeah, that's everything that I can think of. And if you guys want to see anything else, just throw a comment down. I have my engine tore apart right now, so if there's something internally you wanted to see, I can show you. Hopefully this helps. Have a good day.